We first of all now cross over to Mombasa, where the Engineer Summit has been taking place this weekend. We have our very own O'Brien Kimani, who has been keeping a keen eye on the developments of the Engineer Summit. O'Brien, if you can hear me, kindly bring us up to speed on the latest. We know very well that today is the last day of the summit.
I can't hear you. Remove your mask. I can't hear. Well, thank you, Ben Troy Joy. The curtains are finally drawing for the 28th Engineers Conference, which has been taking place here since Monday this week. And the culmination is, of course, resolutions that will be worked on to ensure that various issues are addressed. I'm now joined by the key stakeholders in this meeting who have been on the floor, who have been chairing various meetings. And of course, we want to hear from them on what they expect going forward. Next to me is Engineer Michael Ochieng. He's the Director of Public Works at Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Thank you very much indeed, Engineer. For the last 5 days, engineers have discussed many things. As we come close to the end of this meeting, what is your take home?
Yes, thank you very much. As you've rightfully said, I work with the Nairobi Metropolitan Services, and we are part of this engineering fraternity. We know very well that infrastructure improvement is key to development. It's actually the center of development. And that's why when we come to a conference like this, we share views on how do you improve infrastructure. On the sector particularly that I'm working on in Nairobi Metropolitan Services, we are dealing with roads, or what I would call urban mobility improvement. All people in Nairobi are aware of the challenges they face in traffic congestion. So part of discussion in this conference is how do you improve urban mobility? How do we improve transportation? And of course, NMS, in collaboration with other road agencies in Nairobi, have been trying to congest the city through several strategies. One of them is improving in terms of roads themselves. And you know the expressway is currently almost being completed. We also have the improvement of road surfaces. So more paved roads are now in Nairobi. There's also road rehabilitation. This conference has really discussed the issue about maintenance, monitoring and maintenance, quick maintenance of roads within our entire city. So we have shared ideas on constant monitoring and constant improvement of our roads in the country to improve mobility. But above all, we as NMS advocate a lot to introduction other modes of transport. It's not only vehicular. We are moving towards when we have mass populations, we move towards mass rapid transport systems, which means that we move our population to move in trains, to move in buses, rather than to move towards single vehicular carrying capacity, which only contributes 13%.
Very good. And now next to you is Dr. William Kingi. He's a Deputy Governor of Mombasa County and representing the chief guest who was supposed to be Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister. And one of the issues that has been raised by engineers here is that counties are not hiring as many engineers as possible. What would be a remedy for this?
Well, I think there is a feeling amongst professionals, especially engineers, that in the counties there's no job security, the pay is low, maybe there's always political interference in once you come into county. But we need technical people to come into county so that they can boost the performance of the county. We have many infrastructural projects which are going on, and definitely we need the best amongst the engineers to come in, and we welcome them to come in and work with us. Mm-hmm. So some of these are just fears, but that's why we are here, so that we see how we can collaborate, especially with the engineering bodies like this. If we can have close collaboration, then I think some of these fears can be erased. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Engineer Matalangi is the president of Institution of Engineers of Kenya. The meeting has come up with more than 12 points that they think they are going to advance going forward. Can you highlight two points which you think are very critical going forward?
Yes. Thank you very much, O'Brien. We today ending our conference, and the major two takeaways, O'Brien, have been that engineers have to rise up and realize that unless we get involved in legislation at all levels, from the county to Parliament and to the Senate, then we are not going to be able to influence policy, because the direction is done at legislation level. The setup is done by the members of Parliament. So we need to be able, if you're not able to go and vie for elective positions, we need to be able to talk to the members of Parliament, to influence them, give them direction, lobby them, so that we influence the bills that are being enacted. The second point is for us to grow our capacity in soft skills. We need to be able to do, because as an engineer, I can do law, I can do arbitration, I can also do supplies and management, so that in terms of procurement in specialist areas, technical areas, an engineer who has supply skills, it's not hard to achieve these certificates that are in the Public Procurement Act. We are able to get them, so that we are able to direct the resources. Direct procurement, technical procurement is very important, and this, when it is headed by a non-technical person, many times go bad. You saw the case of the Kenya Power and the transformers, or also the over procurement. You are buying in bulk. The case at KEMSA went really wrong because it was not led by technical procurement specialists.
Yes. I also want to hear from Engineer Ochieng. I mean, one of the resolutions is that EBK, Borax, and NCA to work together to try and audit all the buildings, or some of the buildings in Nairobi and some of the other counties as NMAs. What role are you expected to play to facilitate that?
You see, NMAs plays a central role. One of the functions NMAs took over from the county was the issue of housing and lands, and therefore the element of approval of buildings falls squarely in the county, just like in any other county, be it the local authority approves the development plans and therefore follows up to ensure that they are implemented according to the approvals. So what we are talking about in the auditing is looking at those ones which have not abided by the approval, were built irregularly, and as a consequence, some actions we have taken in Nairobi is go forward and take steps to demolish such structures, because they are a threat to society and a threat to the public. So that's what we are going to undertake, and that's what the conference has discussed.
Very well. And as I wind up, Daktari, how do you plan to work with the engineers, fraternity going forward to improve infrastructure in Mombasa County?
Well, first, I will request that we have an MOU with the Institute of Engineering here in Kenya, so that we have access to this professional advice from such professional bodies. I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And then also definitely we are inviting qualified engineers to come and join the county so that we can team up in building our county. Yes. Gentlemen,
thank you so very much. In the interest of time, we may not continue, but we'll keep, of course, interacting. Asante sana. Well, this is the last day of the Engineers Conference, which has been taking place here in Mombasa for the last 5 days. We'll keep on tracking what the discussions here will be going forward, and of course, we'll be putting the officials here to task in our subsequent engagement with them. O'Brien Kimani is my name. Thank you very much. Ben Troy, back to you in Broadcasting House.